Hello, Murray County third graders. This is Miss Jocelyn. Welcome to day 3 of lesson 12. We're going to be discussing modeling two-step problems with division. Yesterday, we worked on modeling two-step problems with multiplication using letters as our unknown numbers. We're going to do the same thing today, except we're going to be using the operation of division. Remember that there are 4 math operations. They are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We are on pages 128 and 129. Read the problem below, then explore different ways to model two-step problems when one operation is division. The problem they've given us reads, Sam has a box with 12 cans of paint. There are 3 cans of paint on the table. He puts all the cans of paint on the table in rows of 5. How many rows of paint cans does Sam make? You can use a drawing to show two-step word problems. We've discussed the previous 2 days this week, the importance of using a picture to help us understand what we are doing. We can see that they've drawn us a picture. They drew 3 cans on the table because in the problem it says there are 3 cans of paint on the table. Then they added to it the 12 cans of paint that were in the box. So we added 2 more because it asked for rows of 5. So we know we're doing rows of 5. Then he added another complete row of 5 and then a final row of 5. So he added 12 cans to the 3 that were already on the table. You can also use words and numbers to model a two-step problem. If I take the 12 cans that are in the box and I put them together with the 3 cans on the table, I'm going to use addition because I'm putting something together. That will give me a total of 15 cans. Then I take my total number of cans and divide it by the number of cans on each row. So 15 divided by 5. 15 divided by 5 should give us 3 rows of cans. And if we look back in our picture, we can see that there are 1, 2, 3 rows of 5 cans. Let's go on to page 129. Now you will model and solve the problem from the previous page by writing equations with unknowns. So this is where we're going to use letters to represent some of our numbers. Number 9 says, how do you find the total number of cans of paint that Sam has? Let C be the total number of cans. Write an equation to find C. Pause the video here and discuss this with someone or think about it on your own. How am I going to find the total number of cans of paint? And how would I write that as an equation so C shows my total number of cans? You've had some time to work on that, so let's go up here to number 9. How did you find the total number of cans of paint that Sam has? Well, I would have to add 12, because that's how many cans I have in the box, to the number of cans, or to the cans on the table. I could write that as an equation by doing 12 plus 3 equals C. C represents my total number of cans. Then it asked me, how does Sam arrange the paint cans? If I look back at my problem, I can see that Sam puts 5 cans in each row. So if I look back down here at number 10, how does Sam arrange the paint cans? He does it in rows of 5. How can I find the number of rows? Here, I'm going to have to divide the total number of cans by 5 because there are 5 cans in each row. Let R equal the number of rows. Write an equation to find R that includes C and R. Remember that C is our total number of cans, so you would put that first. And then how would I find R? Pause the video here and take just a few minutes to go over that or think about it yourself. All right, so we said that R is going to be our number of rows. So we're looking for our total number of rows. And we're going to find that by taking our total, and if we look back up here, we see that our total is equal to C. So we're going to put R equals C divided by 5. Then we're ready to go on to number 12. How can you find the value of C? Well, I find the value of C by adding 12 plus 3 because I want my total number of cans. C is my total cans. So 12 plus 3 is 15. So C equals 15. Write the equation from problem 11, so this equation right here, using the value of C. So now I know what C is, so I can put that in my equation. And I'm solving to figure out how many rows I need. So if I do that, C, we just said in number 11, equals 15. I'm going to divide that by 5, and that equals R. So what is 15 divided by 5? 15 divided by 5 is 3. So R equals 3. That's how many rows of paint cans Sam has. How could I use multiplication to check that my answer is correct? We know that multiplication is the opposite operation of division. So I would think to myself, 5 times blank equals 15. I can count by 5s until I get to 15, and that will tell me what number goes in this blank. So let's count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. So I had to count by 5s 3 times. 5 times 3 is 15. So I know that my answer is correct because that's what I got up here, that R equals 3. Now let's go down to the try it problems. Use what you've just learned about modeling problems using equations to solve these problems. Show your work on a separate sheet of paper. If you need to pause the video to go get a separate sheet of paper, please do that. You can also just work the problems on the actual page that you have, page 129. All right, let's look at number 14. Ray does a card trick. She puts 16 cards into 4 equal groups. Then she gives one group of cards to her friends. How many cards does Ray have? Pause the video here and discuss this with someone or think about it on your own. What equations could I write to solve this problem? Remember that we are going to use letters to represent our unknown numbers. So your equations should have letters in them. Pause the video now. All right, so I'm going to use N to represent how many cards are in each group. So N equals, if I have 16 cards and I'm putting it into 4 equal groups, that means I'm splitting the cards apart. So I'm going to do 16 divided by 4. That's going to give me N, the number of cards in each group. When I do that, I find that N equals 4, because 4 times 4 gives me 16, so 16 divided by 4 equals 4. Now I'm ready for the second part. In the second part, I'm going to take my total number of cards, which is 16, and I'm going to subtract one group because it says one group of cards goes to her friends. So I would do 16 minus 4 because there's 4 in each group, and that's going to give me, and we'll let C represent the cards. 16 minus 4 equals C. If I have 16 and I subtract 4 from it, I'm going to get 12. So I know that after someone takes one group of Ray's cards, she has 12 cards left. Let's look at number 15. There are 16 water bottles that are evenly divided between 2 teams. Each team has 4 players. Each player gets an equal number of water bottles. How many water bottles does each player get? If you will pause the video here, think about how I'm going to find out how many water bottles each player gets. Remember that I'm going to have 2 steps because I have 3 numbers, and create equations using letters to represent your unknowns. If you'll pause the video for just a minute and think about that or discuss it with someone there with you. All right, so first I need to determine how many water bottles is each team going to get. I have 16 total water bottles, and I'm splitting those water bottles between 2 teams. So I would do 16 divided by 2 equals, and we'll put X. So we're trying to find out how many water bottles each team gets. So that's represented by X. If I do 16 divided by 2, I'm going to get 8. So X equals 8. And I know I'm correct because 8 times 2 gives me 16. Then I'm going to take the number of water bottles that each team gets, and I'm going to divide that number by 4 because each team has 4 players. I don't know what my answer is going to be, so I'm going to put N to represent how many water bottles each player gets. If you notice, we're doing a 2-step problem, and this is one time where we've used the same operation twice. So we've used division twice. Remember, we talked about how you would either use one operation twice or you would use a combination of the operations. And the operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So here we've used division twice. If I have 8 water bottles for my team and I have 4 players on my team, 8 divided by 4 is going to give me 2 water bottles per person. So each person on the team is going to have 2 water bottles that they can use. Okay, boys and girls, that's it for today. If you will join me tomorrow for day 4, and we're going to continue solving two-step word problems.